Have we forgot about KD, Steph, and Clay already?
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
There you go. There you go right there.
Is there any excitement about facing a new challenge like that? Obviously, they're in a different conference. You guys only will play them twice a year, if not in the postseason.
Well, it's always exciting for me to go against, some of the best guys in the game, and they got three of them. They got three of the best guys in the game. You definitely love to be full when you're playing against a team like that and see, like at that point in the season where you match up, how you match up against some of the best teams in the league. And obviously we won't be full on Thursday. So, but other than that, yeah, I love going out there and just, being out on the floor with some of the best that play this game.
Bill?
Hey, LeBron, after you guys got the word of what the MRI on AD had shown, did you feel like, did you say anything to the team, or did you feel a need to talk to the team about what you guys would need to do to get through this? And then what might that message have been?
It's just next man up. It's next man up, and we're not expecting one person to try to pick up AD's, productivity. Nobody's going to be able to do that. He just brings too much to the table, but we all can do more. We all can collectively do more, and that's our job. That's our job, to come out and do more, and we've seen that tonight. The four guys that we brought in the offseason, they all did more tonight. DS, Trez, Wes, and Mark, picked up their play, and we needed that from every last one of them tonight. So we're going to need that while AD's out.
Kyle?
Hey, LeBron. I also have a Nets question if you're willing to entertain it. But you guys beat the Rockets very convincingly last year's playoffs. You played the Rockets in James's last game there. Do you feel like what the Lakers have done last year and what you guys have started to do this year is sort of directed that response where James is now in Brooklyn?
I don't think it has much to do with us. I think it has everything to do with how James was feeling. James felt like he wanted to be in a different position, a different situation. He wants to win. He wants to win now. And he felt like his time was over in Houston, and that was all the spot.
BT?
What's up, Ron?
Come on, B.
Everything's good. Frank talked about telling you guys you have to embrace this moment with AD being out forever, as long as that is. What does that mean to you, and how do you embrace that, not having him around?
Well, he's going to be around. He just won't be on the floor, as far as game minutes, but he's going to be around. And, I've had, big-time guys go down in my career. I had Chris Bosh go down in the first round of a playoff series, and it took a while for him to come back. I've had guys go down. I've had, Kyrie go down with a kneecap injury. Kevin Love go down with a torn shoulder. D-Wade went down before. So, I've had some big guns, before go down. And, you just have to rally around them, keep them upbeat, but also the guys that's going to be in a uniform in the lineup, they just need to step up their play. So it's something that, I don't want to say I'm accustomed to, because you don't never want to be accustomed to a player going down or a player having injuries. But, I've been there before.
Dan?
Hey, LeBron. I'm sure, well, actually, I know you posted about it, what Draymond said last night about kind of the narratives that can surround a player who wants a trade versus an organization who decides they're going to protect an asset by not playing him, kind of the differences between those two things. I'm curious, like, what's the solution in something like, in a situation like this? Is it just better understanding from the public, or how do we get to a more equitable place between ownership and players when it comes to narratives like that?
I don't know. I don't want to get into it right now. I have so many thoughts about it, but I want to be very strategic on, how my word is said. So I don't want to really jump into it much right now, but it's the narrative of what the league has always been. And, from a team's perspective, they've controlled the narrative. They've controlled the narrative of how players should be, how they should act, how they should, treat their organization. And if things don't go their way, they have a way of getting out the narrative that this person or that person a bad fit or was a cancer to the team or whatever the case may be. So they've always controlled that narrative. And I think Draymond and a lot of us, we understand that we would love to have change. We want change. We not even want change. We just want people to understand that it's two sides of the coin. It's not just one-sided. So, that's what, Dre said it. I'm not going to piggyback anything that he said because he said it so perfectly and so engaging and it was so smart about everything that he said. And I'm right with him. That is the way of the land. That's how it's always been. And, we want to be able just to, have an opportunity to create and also be able to control our own destiny at times as well. So that's what it boils down to. But it's so much more to it. How do we change it? It's all about communication. It's all about, being respectful, being a great teammate. Because at the end of the day, your teammates will speak for you. Organizations will try to throw you under the bus, and we've seen it over the course of time throughout a lot of athletes. They will try to throw you under the bus, but in the long run, if you talk to a lot of the former teammates, a lot of the guys that's played the game, and you talk to those guys, they'd be like, "Man, he's a hell of a guy. We loved him in the locker room. He was great." And, so I think you just talk to former teammates, and they'll tell you about him.
Okay, last two. Rachel.
LeBron, I was listening to you list off Chris Bosh, Kyrie, Kevin, now AD's out for a stretch. How is the 36-year-old the most durable guy in the room?
I don't think it's, about that. Obviously there's been some freak injuries. CB went down, tore his groin, in that first round playoff series back in 12, I believe. Kyrie had a freak injury where he fractured his kneecap in the finals. We saw that. Kevin had a freak injury where Kelly Olynyk, they got tied up and, Kelly was a little bit too aggressive and was able to pull his shoulder out of place that we didn't quite like. And obviously D-Wade, he played through injuries a lot as well, but he had some flare-ups with his knee as well. So, for me, I would just always try to, try to keep my body in the best possible shape as possible. If I've ever had an injury, maybe it's not had me out as long. Obviously I had the groin injury a couple of years ago. But other than that, I just try to always be proactive, be available to my teammates. But, these guys do so much behind the scenes as well, to keep their body in to great shape as well. And they just had some freak injuries and, they're going to do whatever it takes to get back on the floor, as every last one of my teammates have done. They've all worked their ass off to get back on the floor. And I expect the same out of AD.
Thank you.
Last question, Nick.
Hey, LeBron. You've always been a person of history, and Spencer Haywood has been the person that you've spoken with and really tried to bring to the forefront. Why is his legacy so important, especially trying to get the naming of a rule change?
I just think it's very important to highlight and acknowledge people who laid down the groundwork for us to be in the position that we are today. And I think Spencer Haywood is one of those guys, along with Kareem, along with, the Big O, along with Bill Russell, along with, so many others that played in that era that just laid a lot of the groundwork both on the floor and also off the floor as well, in order for me to sit here and play the game that I love to play. So as much as I fell in love with guys that played the game, I also fell in love with the stories that was behind the game. Some of the hardships they had to go through in order to be in the positions they were. So he's one of those guys, and it's just all about respecting the journey, respecting the people that came before you. I've always been that way, though. That's just who I am.